For tonight, Wednesday, January 4th. Tonight we had two projects on our agenda. One project, the participants were not quite ready, and John, do you want to?
Yeah, we received a request from counsel for the property owner requesting a 30-day extension under the ordinance due to the unavailability of the architect for tonight's meeting.
Okay, so I think, do we have to actually approve that as a vote? Okay, all in favor of giving them an extension, say aye.
Aye.
Do you want to say what the address is?
Yeah, that project is Harb 2012-02. It's 200 West Wayne Avenue in Wayne, demolition of building. And we have some information, but I think they have other things they want to add to it. Okay, the next project we have is Harb 2012-1, is 200 Walnut Avenue. It's a restoration and modification of a garden stable. Is there someone who'd like to present that project? Please come forward to the microphone and introduce yourself. There's a table here that you can put any kind of drawings on that will get put up on the screen, so you can kind of look at that and see where.
Is there any information that you're looking for that's not in our paperwork already?
Well, what we have to do is a public meeting. You have to present and kind
Okay.
of go through it, and then we'll have questions, and we'll go that route.
Sure. My name...
And so
If you
also,
want.
if you're going to speak, we need to be on a microphone. We have wireless mics here, or
Okay.
we have that one, whichever you'd like. There's a switch on there somewhere.
I'm here for Arthur and Jessie Moss. This is Mrs. Moss over here. And they're looking to make some modifications to the garden stable. It's really pretty simple stuff here. They're not changing their footprint. They're looking to replace some windows with same size windows. And in order to keep the existing barn doors and provide some insulation so it can be used for Mrs. Moss's art room, they are looking to enclose a
Can you
walkway.
just put that on the
that is in
you
front.
flat, and
Over
you can
here?
look up there and see how it lines up.
Okay.
There you go. You might want to break that open. And you might want to,
Here
you might
is
want to
the-
start with, yeah, that one, that'd be
Here
great.
is the layout of the property. In the pink there is the garden shed. And in the middle of the property here, which is yellow or green there, is their house. There is an existing garage here. There is a newer building here. There is an existing storage shed here and an existing garage here. This area is really not seen by street views, certainly not in the summer with all the greens that are up. Oh, thank you. Oh, that's great. And recently, Mrs. Moss has had a gardener take down some trees to clear way for this proposed remodel, as well as an old fence. So they're really looking to update it, make it so that it doesn't flood. And here, I'll show you. What they propose. This is an existing closet here. She'd like to put a toilet and a small sink in downstairs. And here's her walkway here.
So that's the current open porched area that's,
It is open walk space, yeah.
Do you have a picture of what it looks like right now?
I sure
that
do.
front facade? Okay.
There we go. Whoops.
yeah, I don't think you can flip them around.
There we go. And here is the elevation, option 1. And that's just incorporating, maintaining the architectural style of the windows, keeping the top framed shape, and applying that to the front. Ideally, what she would like, I believe, is more light in that front area. So this is proposal 2, which just has 3 of those windows in a row.
And could you also show the facade of the main house, the principal structure? I think there's a picture here, just so that everyone can
Oh, sure.
get an idea of how it ties in with the main structure.
There we go. It is the top picture here, of course.
Thank you.
If you'd like to see some existing structures, would that be helpful in your decision?
Well, you can run through each of those pictures and just
Okay.
explain what they are, and that'd be great.
This is the adjacent property, 206 Walnut Avenue, and that is really what we see from the existing stable. That's a garage back. Here is from the back side, and this is 205 Woodland view from the rear of the stable.
Is that corner the stable itself that we're seeing in the
It
foreground?
is.
Okay.
And here we are on the left side of the stable. This is a work shed in the adjacent property at 203 Poplar Avenue. And here we are with the 205 Walnut, which is the larger new structure. I think, what is that, Mrs. Moss, about 10 years old?
No, it's more like 5, isn't it?
Okay.
We've only been flooded for like 5 years.
Yeah,
There was
that was
some,
the property, they took one house down and put 2
Carol puts
on, right?
there was some drainage, there is some existing drainage issues, which working on the outside area there and putting a foundation in for it is going to help to alleviate.
It looks like the existing carriage house is up on a concrete slab of some sort, or does it
It
have?
is on a concrete slab.
So it's elevated, 8 or so inches above grade?
About 4 inches in one area and about, maybe 6 in another.
Okay, and the porch area is at grade,
The porch area is
pretty much?
actually very level with the lower part.
Mhm.
Let me show you the inside here. So, this is the highest elevation, and that is the back left corner. And this is 3 inches lower, and the goal is to raise that up to match this, and this up to match all of them, which would be raising it approximately 4.5 inches.
And to orient us on this plan, if we were to go straight down, that would be the main house. If we were to go to
The
the
main
right?
house is located right here, this way.
Yeah, down, okay.
Yeah.
And then to the right would be Woodland Avenue?
Woodland
So-
Avenue
So
here,
we're
yes.
oriented exactly this way right now?
Yes.
Okay.
That is really all we have to request. Is there any questions?
On the filled-in space, the exterior walls, they're going to match the existing walls of the
Yes,
stable
they are.
as they are now?
Absolutely.
So the materials that will be, what kind of windows will they be? Will they be wood windows or clad windows or?
They're going to be, we have a gentleman working on the windows for us. They're going to be double pane insulated glass. We're keeping the exterior sash of it and just replacing the interior with some more economical, fuel efficient.
And also, you have 2 different options in terms of what you would like to put on the front facade of the building.
Right?
Are they, what is there now? Is it 3 windows that go across or 5? I mean, behind that?
Currently,
Get this picture?
it is
Yeah, it's kind of
It
hard
is
to
a
see.
large barn door, which takes over this amount of space here. And then there's a little window here, And then there is a Dutch door here, and there is another existing window here. Not really visible from anywhere, but the Mosses like the charm that has and want to maintain it completely. So rather than trying to insulate the barn doors, the idea was to enclose this, adding either the 4 windows or the 6 windows with a door, and just maintain this internally.
Oh, so this would basically stay?
Exactly as
Oh,
is.
okay.
Their goal is to preserve the building, but make it useful.
Yeah.
Well,
I
one
mean, this-
of the things that I wish you had pictures of is that the columns on the existing stable have really pretty detailed bracketry. From the house view, they're minor, but from the end view, they're fairly significant. And that's
They're now visible that she took down the fence a little bit.
Right.
They are, if you've had an opportunity to take a closer look at them, they're not in very good shape. And the structure of that does need to be worked on a little bit.
Is the porch beam okay, or is it?
Excuse me?
Is the porch beam okay, or is that?
Not so much, sir. The front of the building, if I can find that closer picture, here we go. If you can notice here, this is approximately 4 to 6 inches lower on this side than on this side. And again, the spread from the interior wall to the edge and the last beam here and the spread there is a good 6-inch difference as well, with this being wider and this being more narrow. So one of the objectives in working on that outside area is to stabilize the structure and also balance it out a little bit.
Well, what I was getting at is that this is an original structure, which is about 1885 or so, and if, just as a suggestion, I was thinking, if you could somehow save the cadence of these columns and the bracketry, and take the new wall and step it behind, or just slightly behind.
Okay, the columns have been replaced in the 70s.
Well,
They
they
have to
were
be.
columns to begin with.
Okay.
And there were brackets to begin with, whether they're in great shape or not great shape.
When
So,
were the columns replaced? They needed to be structurally,
About 5 years ago. I was worried about the sinking.
Well, it looks like you might have one that was put in that wasn't originally there, and there might have been 3 originals. I mean, it's just from, this picture's pretty far back, but
Okay.
that's kind of what I'm seeing. So all I'm saying is that there's some detail here that is being taken away, which might be able to be saved, and just put it slightly in front of the new wall so that you still have a column, you've got siding in between the 2 columns, you've got a window, but the brackets are still shown.
so
know-
architecturally you would like,
To maintain some of that detail. This is one of
okay.
the more relevant carriage houses in the area that still exists because of its detailing. I mean, you've got great pictures of the windows and the casings, and you know, they're great details there. The siding is German shiplap. It's wonderful siding. It's, you know, it's trying to go back to the ground. That's what all these buildings try to do eventually. So it's sagging. So you want to fix that and enclose it and make it usable. Well, I'm just saying, do that, but try to maintain some of these original features and work them into the design.
Well, I think that we were trying to maintain almost practically all the original features of it. As I mentioned, those posts, they're not level.
I
They've been
understand
replaced
that.
and they're not level.
You can fix all that. And
But put a wall in back of
have you ever
the
seen that
post?
done before?
Yes, I have. I'm not sure it's necessarily what they were going for.
Well, it doesn't affect the interior use at all. It's just maintaining an original architectural feature. So that would be my thought, is that if you have something significant, why not reuse it?
Okay, and what is significant about those? Because, I mean, they're not original to the building.
There were columns original to the building.
Okay.
These were replaced or may not, they were replaced or were not replaced. Brackets are original. And they're, on the ends, they're significant brackets. They've got, great detail on them, and it just would be something I think would be worthwhile trying to save.
Well, I think what, the other thing is that having the brackets and the columns, even though the columns have been replaced, they still give the building a certain character. And by taking those away, even though I think what they're proposing isn't bad, it doesn't have the same character as what is here now. In other words, it doesn't really look, what is being proposed, I think, doesn't really look like a stable building anymore. Whereas if you were to keep the columns and then do something like Cam is suggesting, putting the wall behind it, you could still have the same interior space, but maintain the original character of the
Okay.
building.
Well, the fact is they're closing in the space, so that's what's changing the character. The posts, I don't think, have anything to do with the character. They're closing the space. So that's the change.
Yeah, I understand
So,
that.
You're suggesting closing in the space and then on the outside putting up some,
Well, just maintaining, just
facade
maintaining
posts.
the posts, yeah.
we
Well,
wouldn't need them though, because it's
No.
closed in.
A lot of times, what you'll do is if you have a post, you'll let the exterior portion be exposed, and you'll build a wall in between, or slightly behind, or somewhere in between there. But what you're doing is just allowing it to read through, which, while you're taking away the original character of a carriage house that has an open, covered area, you're still maintaining a cadence of a structure that used to be there. But you're still having the wall that's all there, and but then you have a system that then you can organize your windows within that structure, the columns.
Okay, is that what you're proposing for us?
Well, I'm suggesting that would probably be worthwhile to look into.
Is
But
this-
we will decide or not decide tonight on what you've presented to
Okay.
us.
Yeah, I think this is
We haven't gotten there yet, don't worry.
I understand, but this gentleman that's standing up here thinks this is going to be approved unless you design it and he builds it.
We haven't gotten there yet. We're just having an open discussion about
This
it.
this is just suggestions. It's not saying he can or can't do it.
But it's not just a suggestion.
No,
The
well, but,
gentleman is obviously a bit confused about what you're going to want. And sir, am I correct?
I'm anxious to hear what they have to say.
All right.
I mean, from my point of view, I think that what you've proposed is charming and it's nice, and I like the fact that the windows complement the main house. And, I personally would not disapprove this project, what you're proposing. I think what I'm suggesting is that you look into it a little bit further and see if you can work with the existing structure that's already there and the character of what's already there, and work with that. This is a suggestion. It's not to say that we say, oh, you've got to do it at this point, because we haven't voted on it at all.
Well, the building was, of course, originally built as a stable. And in order for us to make this something that's useful for them today, we would need to have some adequate insulation, heat. It's the barn doors, while she really wants to keep them, there is no way to utilize a barn door of that size and insulate it properly and still have it be functioning. What we were trying to do was incorporate the outside area in order to preserve the integrity of the original structure.
Right. And I don't think anyone is saying that that can't be done.
Okay.
I think what we're simply saying is it can be done, that you can enclose that area.
Okay.
But you can also perhaps keep some of the detail of the
Just
brackets
recess it and
yeah,
keeping the wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that what
Yeah.
you were getting at?
Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah.
all I'm trying to do. I'm not saying anything about not enclosing it.
Architecturally, I'm not sure that's going to look a lot better. If you have a garage, completely different property, and you make it into a family room, But you still have the details of the garage. It's always going to look like a garage with windows in it. What we're hoping to do here is keep the clean lines of the red going all along the side of the building and update it with some really beautiful windows that help capture the time period while making it something functional for today.
I agree. I think that's a great use of it. I'm just saying there's maybe one more step you could go.
Okay.
That's all. I mean, these kinds of details are disappearing daily.
Agreed.
So I think it's worth giving it a second look. That's all.
Okay. A second look before you vote on it?
We'll vote on it and then you'll know.
Okay.
Anybody have any other questions? We've got windows that are going to replicate what's there going in. We've got siding. You're using wood, or you're going to use a synthetic, or doesn't matter?
We are going to match the texture and the size of it. It could be wood. I actually haven't priced that out with them yet. But matching the existing siding is the
And
goal.
that on the side elevation, which we don't have, you'd be infilling the open area back to an existing area, and there's a corner board there. Would that be the point where you would show new to old, or would you lace it in together, or, you know what I'm saying? The new to the original?
Mm-hmm.
There's a corner board now. I mean, would you lace that in, or would you keep a corner board?
You're talking right here and right here, correct? Right here.
Go back to the original wall.
This wall.
Yeah. There are corner boards there now.
We would keep the interior of it. The goal is to try to blend the wall as best we can on the sides, duplicating this very siding. So our proposal is not to keep the corner structure of this. It wouldn't be necessarily aesthetically pleasing, and perhaps it would be a better look for the exterior to be flush with existing.
I know, but I see it's flush, but there's a detail now where the siding stops to a vertical, and then it wraps around. Is that vertical going to stay, and then you put in new siding, or is that going to come out, and then you lace everything together?
We were hoping to lace it together.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the
I
question.
didn't explain myself, I don't think. That's what I was asking. Okay, so you're trying to make this all wrap around and look as one.
Look as unified as possible, yes.
Okay.
If there's any other questions, I am happy to answer.
You know, I think that where I'm coming from is, it's a secondary building, so it's not the main house. And it's not, is it very visible?
It's not at all, really. There's, especially in the summer, there's greens pretty much surrounding it.
Right.
There's either other buildings or greens, trees, bushes.
Yeah.
They've done some nice landscaping there.
So,
In the garden, well, yeah.
so in terms of, you know, the visibility of it, it's really not very visible what you see. I guess because...
More from the mosses. It's from their yard,
Yeah.
from their house.
Yeah, I guess because it's, you know, the thing that's holding me back a little bit is that because it's an original structure and it was written up in the inventory. And there are not very many of these original structures left, that it would be nice to, again, maintain the character of it as a stable and do some infill. Rather than lace it together, to show that corner board and to show what was there.
The majority of that has been replaced over the years. I mean, we're not really looking at original structure. Architecturally, this side would not. Okay,
I mean,
I
that's
appreciate your
that's
concern.
my comment.
okay.
But the reasoning is because it, even though it may not be original material, the original, it shows the original character.
Right.
I'm not, I don't think, from my point of view, I don't think I would deny it
Okay.
based on that. I'm just saying that these are concerns, and I think it could be a better project, a more interesting project, if you could see what it was and what it is now. But I guess, that's,
Unfortunately, we don't have much of a use for a stable in Wayne anymore. But I do understand what you're saying, and a lot of talk went on in the household when they're trying to really think of the most logical thing to do with this.
I think it's a great use for it. I'm jealous.
Been talking about it for 30 years.
Yeah.
Gentlemen? Okay. I'm very new to this, and I wasn't aware we were presenting tonight, so I apologize if I'm a little bumpy with my presentation. Thank you for your patience,
Oh,
though.
it's fine. I called you John, didn't I?
What's that?
Didn't I call you John earlier? Sorry.
You did.
That's George.
I let it fly. Well, I'll make a motion to approve certificate of appropriateness under the plans as submitted under either options number 1 or 2 with no conditions.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm going to have to say no, I'm sorry, but I still want that other part, but you've passed 2-1.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much for
All
your
right,
time.
now, we are an advisory board, which means that this recommendation goes forward to the Board of Commissioners, and they'll review it, and then they say yay or nay. If they agree with us, it becomes an official approval by us.
Okay.
So that's that stage. Then you're not increasing any footprints or anything. You probably don't have any zoning issues, but that would be the next thing. And then there's building permits and,
Well,
So
what's the time frame on that, Mr. Lacy?
is it?
22nd, I think, is the next meeting.
Okay, so January 22nd, the Board of Commissioners will have this on their agenda.
Okay.
And then at that point, it's an official Harb approval. And then beyond that is what you can do, because you've got to put construction documents together and whatever, that you're going to
The contractor is ready to go with the township, and the township, based on what he heard, was ready to go once your approval was in place, so.
All right, well, they don't look at building permits until we approve
Right.
and zoning's approved and all that. So I'm just saying,
Okay.
don't get a hammer out tomorrow on what we just said, that's all.
Okay, so the 22nd, and do the Mosses need to participate in that?
No.
And will you send us a notice?
They'll send you notice in
Okay,
7 days or something after that. So.
all right.
all
Thank
right.
you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Any new business for anybody? Any old business?
Public participation.
Do we have any public people? Okay. Then I move we adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.